Hi Willow class, welcome to another YouTube video where we're going to be discussing some of our learning tasks for today. But first, can I just start off by saying thank you so much. The learning that has been sent through to the Twyford team email address has been fantastic, and I've been so impressed with the quality, with the animations, with the PowerPoints, with the epic stories that have been written, some of them with chapters and going forward and backwards in time. I've seen some maths work with the fractions and also with some work on calculation methods that have been presented so beautifully and so clearly, and I'm just so impressed with the standard of learning that's going on at home. I'm also really impressed from speaking to mums and dads on the phone about how committed you all are, and it just shows off why I'm so proud to be your teacher. So really well done, Willow class. Let's start talking about today. So it is Wednesday the 1st of April, and we're going to be talking about two subjects that we're going to mix together. So we're going to be talking a little bit about P4C, which remember stands for Philosophy for Children. That's that subject that we often get together and we have big circle times and thinking times and connecting times to think deeply on a subject. And then we're going to also build that into some PSHE work. And this is a really exciting opportunity that's come up, and actually I changed what we were doing today based on this opportunity because it was something that we just couldn't miss, and I know Willow class will love this. So the first task, task A, is all about deep thinking and creating mind maps, and this uses one of the techniques that we use often when we're in our P4C circle to help us. It's a little bit about expressing yourself, expressing your opinions, but also making connections between words, which is a really important skill. So I'm just going to bring up task A and I'm going to talk you through how I would approach task A. So on that task, I've done a scatter of words for you, and the first job is just to look at them and talk about them and think about what the words mean. So just spend some time. Maybe there's some that you find really easy and you think, oh yeah, I know how to explain that, or I know where that would be used. Maybe there's some that you want to look into a bit more deeply, and there is a video at the bottom of that page if you wanted to look into words like renewable and non-renewable in more detail. Then you're going to think about how you can connect them together with a map, with sort of a design, just thinking what connections can you make. But do remember, with P4C learning, there isn't a right or wrong answer, so it's really important that you think about what does this mean to me. So for example, if I was making a mind map, and I've got my video, my whiteboard here, then in the middle I might choose my word as a connection. So I might want to have the planet in the middle, or I might want to have energy in the middle, I might want to have the future in the middle, and that could be the centre of my mind map. So I'm going to put the planet, but you put what you like and don't let that influence your thinking. And then off that, I might then find some of those words that I could start building my connections with. So if I look at the list, there might be words like power, there might be words like carbon footprint, there might be something around fairness, and there might be another one about the environment. Now you might make a connection in a different way. So again, don't be influenced by what I've put together. I then might make some connections off those words. So carbon footprint, I might say that that links quite heavily to industry. Industry creating quite a high carbon footprint, carbon emissions into our atmosphere. And we talked about carbon footprint, remember, when we were doing our autumn harvest festival service, we were talking about the carbon footprint we leave behind. Power, we might then put something in there to do with fuel. And you start building connections and just making connections together. And as I said, please don't forget that it can be in any connection there, just making the mind map off, and yours will look beautiful compared to mine that I'm just jotting down here. You can use colours to help you to organise your thinking. You could also use images to help you, whatever you like. There is no right or wrong answer. It's just about developing your thinking and just getting warmed up to this subject. So that's task A. Feel free to pause the video there because I'm just about to talk about task B. So I bring up task B. So this is what got me really excited, because I got an email through from Hillview Farm. Hillview Farm's where we've been doing our Feed the Birds project, so it's a place that we know really well. And the email started off like this. It said, "Dear Mrs Davies, And it then said, solar energy project with Hillview Farm helping our global community. And it read along the lines of, at Hillview Farm we have a group of solar panels in our farmyard at the moment that the children would have seen during their trip. And if you remember when we walked up, and certainly all of the teams would have walked past this, there was a big bank of solar panels. Now they are looking to make a donation of those solar panels. They're actually being tested at the moment before they're being sent by their friend Ben, who is our link person, to a hospital in Ethiopia. So they're making a donation of those solar panels out to Ethiopia to be able to support a hospital that is developing out there. We're hoping, and they're working hard to get them off as soon as possible. And it's an entirely non-commercial project, which means they're not making any money out of this. This is a donation. This is a way of helping other people. And the panels will hopefully mean the hospital has renewable power to help them support their patients. And as we all know, hospitals are such an important part of our community. So for task B, I just want you to start thinking about this project, about Hillview Farm, about the donation that they're making, and it's an opportunity for us to think a bit deeper about these points. So I've got some questions for you to research. On how you present your findings is completely up to you. You might want to do some more little mind maps. You might want to organise it into bullet points. So my first question is, where's Ethiopia? See if you can find out. Maybe what is the country like? How far will the panels travel? Could you actually use some maths to work out how far it's going, or use Google Maps and using our geography skills? And then, why is renewable energy a better source of power for the hospital? So think how it's going to help that hospital out. Now the very last question on task B is to get you thinking a bit deeper. What does a global neighbour mean to you? And for that one, again, present your thinking how you'd like. Maybe you've got more than one answer for a global neighbour. And if you'd like, perhaps even set up a P4C circle with the people in your house, mum, dad, granny, granddad if they're staying with you at the moment. Maybe you've got brothers and sisters around, and you could show them the P4C rules to talk about what does the word global neighbour mean to you. That's task B. Are you ready for task C? So I've got my whiteboard ready for task C. So task C is how we can get involved in this project. So we already know a lot about solar panels. We have done some work before, and I know we had some fantastic presentations about what renewable energy is about. But we would like to write some letters that can be sent with the solar panels, that can be sent out into the community. So the third part of the email that came through to me read a little bit like this. Ben, who will be transporting the panels, and he's the lovely gentleman that's going to be going out to Ethiopia to help set them up, said he would take a wallet from the children of Twyford St Mary's to share with the children in the town receiving the panels. So here's our chance that we can write to those children, and we can send things out in a wallet that will be received by that community. And we're going back to that global neighbours idea, sending something out to people in our world. So this is an amazing opportunity to create a pen pal conversation with a family or a child in Ethiopia, and we can get creative with this. So I've done my best to create you a writer's toolkit to get you started. Now this is more a PSHE piece of writing, so I haven't gone over the top with our English skills, but I have made some suggestions for you. The first one, if we think about our must-haves, so when we're writing a letter, you need to have a bit of an introduction. Now, do we know who we're writing to? No, we don't know who we're writing to yet, so we're going to call them our friend. So we could say, dear friend, or you could say to my new friend, or welcoming my friend, or you can give it another name if you want to, whatever makes you feel comfortable, but dear someone, you need to give it there. So I'm going to start with a dear friend. And when I'm writing that, I'm going to put my comma afterwards, just to make sure I've got it clearly on there. Now, you need to do a bit of an introduction of who you are. So it might be, I'm writing to you from a village called Twyford. Which, I'm going to use a relative clause there, is in the UK. Or you could say Great Britain, you could say England, you can explain where that is in a bit more detail. You might want to explain a bit about you. My name is Mrs. Davies. And I am a class teacher. and I'm going to put in brackets of a wonderful group of children called Willow class. And I'm going to close those brackets. I'm going to do a little bit more of detail here, so I'm going to do a bit more PDD. So my point is that I'm Mrs. Davies, I'm a class teacher. If I wanted to develop some stuff about myself, what could I say? So I'm going to think deeply, I'm going to think carefully. How else might I want to develop my point? You know, our PDD. So I've got my name is Mrs. Davies and I'm a class teacher of a wonderful group of children called Willow class. That's my point. I am really excited to write to you to share our experiences of learning in England and to find out more about your life in Ethiopia. And I will take my time to edit this, so I'm going to look back through and think, how can I edit? So for example, I've used Twyford and Ethiopia and England and the UK. What are all of those? They're all places. Can you remember the grammatical term for places? We call them proper nouns, and a proper noun must have a capital letter. I'm glad you're with me. So I'm going to go back through and just double check. So I've got the village of Twyford, and I'm going to make sure it's got a capital T. I've got the UK, and actually both those letters are in capitals. United Kingdom, so UK. I've got Willow class, that's the name of our class. I'm going to make sure that's got a capital, Willow and class. And then I'm going to make sure England and Ethiopia has got my capitals. Excellent. I chose to use brackets in parenthesis for the other wonderful group of children called Willow class. I'm just going to check I've closed both of those, but also left my punctuation on the outside of those brackets to end the sentence. So I'm just going to double check. I think that reads quite nicely. I'll just double check it through. Dear friend, I'm writing to you from a village called Twyford, which is in the UK. My name is Mrs. Davies and I'm a class teacher of a wonderful group of children called Willow class. I'm really excited to write to you to share our experiences of learning in England and find out more about your life in Ethiopia. So there's my introduction. Now, as you're writing this, there's loads of other things you could do. So for example, I've said that you need to have a warm and friendly tone. You need to be really lovely to this person. You need to be welcoming to them because you're hoping that they'll write back to you. You might put some questions. What do you want to know in return? What's learning like? What's your school like? What's the hospital like? Maybe you're going to use some conjunctions to explain about the solar panels. So you could say, the solar panels originally were on a farm in the UK and I saw them working. They made a big difference. When they are attached to your hospital, they'll provide a renewable energy source that you can use again and again and again and create power using the sunshine. Maybe you could use which, because, if, therefore to explain. And then you might be asking them for a return address, so you might say to respond back. For this bit, guys, please make sure you're not putting your home personal addresses, but putting the school address, which is School Road, Twyford, Winchester, SO21 1QQ, and it's written on the task if you want to put it there. And it's obviously Twyford St Mary's C.A.V. Primary School at the start of it. Now, I have put in the could section of the toolkit no English skills in there. I have put in, alongside your letter, you might want to put some kind of image, maybe something to do with hope and happiness, which I know some of you have been making and putting up on your windows. Maybe you want to put an explanation diagram of how solar panels work. I know when we did PowerPoints before, there were some exceptional ones all about how solar panels work. Or maybe some kind of creative image to do with sunshine or global neighbours that's going to bring people together. This is such a lovely opportunity, Willow class, and please make sure that you can either email me a copy of your letter, which you can scan or put through, or of course post them to the school and I will get them to Hillview Farm and Ben to send out to Ethiopia. In the meantime, if you want to reach me or you want to ask me some advice on your letter, you want me to have a look through at your first draft, please just send it through to team@twyfordteam.com. I really look forward to seeing these, and I really hope you're excited for this opportunity. Willow class, as always, as I say, I'm missing you every day, missing teaching you, but I hope that you're having a great time at home, and I hope you're getting some sunshine, some fresh air, and you're looking after your parents as well. Okay, take care. Bye.